Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts here. It's the Gaming Saloon Reviews for July 20th, 2025, with your host, Space Breaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's the end of the first arc of Gaim, because technically Gaim has arcs, and I swear I've only ever seen that pointed out on the writer wiki.
I mean, it's accurate, though, because this is technically the Beat Rider arc.
Yeah. It feels like arcs and Rider weren't really, like, they didn't really push it as a thing until, like, honestly, the last couple of shows, or last few shows, when there's this very distinct hard, like, cut and, like, a hard signifier. Because, like, with Gotchard and Gav, it's usually when they're putting out the new poster. But it's like, oh, this is an end of an arc. Because here's the poster for the next arc. And then Geets was explicit.
Look at the difference between those two for sure.
Yeah.
They're not really written like normal writer shows.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly,
then,
Geets is kind of the same boat.
I was about to say, Geets baked it into the episode titles.
Which also kind of correlated with the episodes too.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually worked there. I guess that's probably I guess Geets probably truthfully is the first time of it getting full on embraced.
Hmm.
Because we got it with the titles and the show at the same time. We normally will just get one or the other. Because really, Gaim's kind of the first one to do the arcs. We were doing the 2 episodes that kept pushing the overall story forward.
Yeah.
Gaim's the first one that's like, nope, we have a hard, this could have been an end of a show if we wanted to have padding. Because truthfully, all of this could have been like a first season.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think though, because where would the next big break kind of come in? With Gaim. Because to me, it always just felt like we had the Beat Rider stuff and then this show.
I feel like Kachidoki's introduction is one, but I think there's one between those two. Let me look. Let me see what the writer wiki says.
Maybe each form upgrade them?
No. Okay, it says 23 is the end of the Genesis Rider arc. Okay, which is Kachidoki Arms. Okay, so I was right. Kachidoki Arms is the next break.
Well, yeah, because we don't really learn a lot about the forest until after Kachidoki, and that's kind of what's setting up the final part of the show. So yeah, I guess I could see that.
And then 24 to 32 is the next arc, and that ends with Kiwami. And then it's 33 through 43, and then it's 44 to 47. Which 44 to 47 is just the final 4 episodes of the show.
Which shouldn't be considered an arc of its own, but yeah.
It's more of like, here is your 3-part finale plus the epilogue. Yeah, I also saw kind of an interesting thing brought up in the Discord. Since apparently we've got the all of the sounds that are in the Zets driver now. Apparently someone hacked to display model of it, I guess, to get the sounds. Only Ichigo and all of the Heisei forward main riders, and Revice is one rider instead of being two separate riders or two separate sounds. But the question kind of got brought up is like, when are we going to reach the point where they start calling the Heisei main riders in favor of doing all like the railroad riders and like the belt?
That's going to be a tricky one because in theory, it really should be at some point soon, and maybe us seeing a soft transition where we cut Kuga through Decade first, but leave Double through Geo. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't think they will do that. I think it'll be all or none.
I think what will happen is once we get to Reiwa 10, so like basically the 10th anniversary of the Reiwa era, we'll start to see everyone between Kuga and Decade start to slowly get phased out depending on popularity. Like your least popular characters between Kuga and Decade are going to get phased out.
Well, with Decade being the clear exception.
Yeah, like Kuga will stay because he's the first Heisei era. He's basically gets to be like Ichigo. He's going to be the only one of his group forever. Like regardless of if they never do another Phase 1 like representation, it'll just be Kuga. Just like basically the only show representation in belts these days is Ichigo. But like basically everyone from Akito to Kiva is like on the chopping block. And then the closer we get to Reiwa 20, if we get to Reiwa 20, or if it gets to transition to another era, I don't know. But like the further we get from 10, the more like those will get cold, and then the start of like between Double and Geo are going to get cold. So like your least popular people between like Double and Geo will get cold as well, because I think Double will probably get to stay forever.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I think if any from that batch does, it probably will be Double. Just because we've seen the most for Double kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know.
Granted, I say all this, but then I go over and look at Ultraman stuff, and they find a way every year to be like, nope, all the Ultraman's transformation sounds get to be in the current Ultraman's device forever. It doesn't matter who it is. Here's their transformation sound. Like, even if it's the Showa crew, like the original Ultraman stuff, nope, they get represented. And I'm like, wow, that is a stark contrast to Rider, where we are like seemingly culling people left, right, and center at this point. And I want to say, like,
I almost feel like though calling would be the better option. Because then you just have everything in every driver going forward. And do we really want that?
I feel like I have to ask an Ultraman fan that, because that's what they have. It's like, here's the part that's their stuff, and then here's the part that's everything else from the past.
The reason I say that in terms of Rider is if we see something like that, it more than likely will wind up meaning that they're gonna try to do something with it, especially if it's all of them. If it's a handful of them, we're probably not gonna get too many huge crossovers that haven't turned out too good, just saying.
Yeah, they went on record saying that those big fancy spring crossovers have done poorly numbers wise over time.
Gee, I wouldn't know why.
And then the winter crossovers did poorly over time.
It's one of those. It could be any reason. Oh, I don't know. Maybe the writing.
It might be because we kept shoving everybody in the damn movie, like every other movie, basically, and people were tired of seeing everyone back for one big fight sequence. Because we've done it so many goddamn times, it's ridiculous.
They really should have saved that for like the 5s and 10s only.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think we should have had Spring Tyson films yearly. I think we should have had Spring Tyson films be every 5 to 10 years. Just, hey, here's a Spring Tyson film that teams up with some like old writer and Sentai folks from like whoever's available. Here's them in a movie. Oh, look, everybody shows up at the end to come help.
And it be something that you're not expecting the story to be spot on, that it's just there.
Yeah. But I also will say, like, thinking of Ultra is like, it feels weird to compare them because like Ultra also has so few gimmicks thrown into their show as compared to Rider. Like, Blazar had 2 things for his show, and that was it. Think of a Rider show that only has 2 additional gimmick items for forms, and then that's it. That's it for the rest of the show.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, because I also feel like, because I did a different Discord, I saw people complaining about like, or not happy about like Legend Rider stuff showing up every year. I feel like they only ever really pushed Legend Rider stuff when they needed to fill out the line. Because Geats technically had a lot of Legend Rider stuff, but think of how few gimmick items there are in Geats.
Yeah.
You could probably count on 2 hands all of the major buckles in that show.
The
I also
only
feel like
downside with that is we also, while we also had less, we also in turns had less drivers, which caused for less creativity.
Yeah, we had
glare and repaint of glare and repaint of glare.
We had like 4 belts, basically, at the end of the day. 2 of which were repaints of each other. 1 was a gun, and 1 was the main thing.
Uh-huh. One of those, I get wanting to simplify it down, but there comes a point where you might have oversimplified it.
Yeah. And I also get the annoyance of like, here's this year's gimmick, but it's themed after this writer. But I'm also like, well, unless it's used in the show, who cares? Because like, Gav has a bunch of Legend Rider stuff, and it's not showing up in the show fucking at all. It has technically shown up more in Gotchard in relation to Gav than it has in the show itself, and that's only because they ended the show with a little teaser of like Gav meeting Gotchard and Legend and giving them gummies, and then there was a little Gotchard, like Gochizo, and that was it. It had nothing to do with anything. Because I also feel like mainly the Legend Rider gimmicks are for the folks who are only ever going to collect for like the one show they like. And so this keeps them buying stuff every year.
Yeah.
Because I know people who do that. I know people who are like, I like Gaim. I buy every year's gimmick that features Gaim. 'Cause, So it gets them to at least purchase something in the year instead of nothing.
And I mean, I think really that's all that is there for. That way they can basically be like, oh, you don't like this year's rider? Well, this year's rider has a thing for the rider you do like.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like Gav? Would you like a Gaim Gochizo? Would you like a Gaim Kiwami Gochizo? Well, we got both of those. But yeah, I at least appreciate when they at least do something creative with the gimmicks instead of do something boring with it. That's why I like the Kemis. That's why I bothered to do cat stuff for the Kemis, because I really like the designs. But yeah, all the tangent aside, we should talk about Gaim, even though we'll probably run through this real quick.
Probably.
But yeah, it is 9 through 12. We're wrapping up one arc, starting the next one. Any thoughts going into them?
Michi's heel turn is just right there in front of everyone the entire freaking time.
Yeah. Oh, look at how helpful and smart he is. And then, like, the last episode, I'm like, he's showing his dark side now.
Yep.
He's showing why Kota is a better person than him. But yeah, we will kick off with episode 9, the Monster Invest Capture Battle. So we pick up with a guy hypnotized by the Invest fruit down underground before we cut to Team Gaim trying to figure out stuff about the Invest. They talk about going to the cops, but they're like, well, the portals disappear before the cops can show up, and why would the cops believe monsters show up? So I feel like it was less they would believe the monsters and more like, oh, you're beat writers. Aren't you responsible for this? You're the ones that fuck with this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like that is like the part I don't think it's touched on by the show of just like, even if any of the beat writers went to like the police or like anything about like Invest being in the city, they would just write it off as them because they're the ones summoning the monsters to fight each other in their like weird little internet game. Why would they think it's anything else but that?
Not to mention they're probably paid to make sure that nothing gets said about it anyhow, so.
Yeah, because Yuka still has complete control of the town, so.
Yep.
But they land on trying to get the beat writers together to try to, like, help people and stuff, and then they go to Kaito, and Kaito's like, no. You're winning. I don't want to listen to you. I don't care. All I care about is winning. Boo. And then basically everyone else with a belt is like, no.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's like, I will not join your alliance, even though you're winning. Except for he forced other teams to join his alliance when he was winning just a few episodes ago.
I really have forgotten how much of a dick Kaito is.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, you are supposed to be the secondary of this show. You are grade A asshole from minute 1 forward, and there is no going back from this.
Okay, but I think I did see something. Yes, he wound up being secondary. I don't think he originally was.
I was about to say, who do you think was supposed to be secondary then?
I almost wonder if they were originally going to go as far as they did with Michi. Because if you think about it, most of his problems could have been resolved just by him talking.
Yeah.
riding him to where he talked his problems out. Just once, even. Could have even been in the middle of a fight between him and one of the others. And that could have changed his trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wonder if Kaito became such a favorite that it kind of got wrote the way it did, because we know he did get a form. I refuse to call it his final form because it's not really a rider form. But he did get a form because of that.
Well, he got two of them, actually, because Lemon Energy wasn't supposed to be his to start with, but they were like, oh, Kaito's popular. He can borrow Duke's armor.
It almost makes me wonder if Kaito was supposed to be the one to go, maybe not the exact way that Michi did, but at least to the same depths kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because it almost feels like that's how he was written at the beginning here. Like the roles probably should have been slightly reversed.
Mm-hmm. I almost kind of wish Takatora got to be secondary, just for the parallels you could pull between the two of them.
If it was wrote now kind of deal, I could have saw that happening. We could have had like a split view where we were seeing more in depth from each perspective.
Hmm. Because I'm also pretty sure that like Takatora and Kota barely speak to each other. They barely interact.
They barely do, and when they do interact with each other, it really does kind of feel like they're two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm. I distinctly remember they get one fight together, and it's just a random fight that they get to fight alongside each other, and then never again. Because then Takatora gets stuck with Michi plotline, and then Kota gets stuck with Overlord plotline. And then they never get to interact after that. But yeah, anywho, since they're out of that, they decide to find another means. They eventually figure out, after Bondo gets attacked by an Invest, that it seems to be attracted to fruits, but not fruits from here. And so Michi's like, we'll get one of the fruits from the forest and use that as bait. And so they decide to do that. Also in here, Takatora tells Michi's like, hey, somebody stole from us. Not saying what got stolen, just that some was stuck in there. And Michi's like, that sucks. And then Takatora asks him about the beat writers. Michi's like, I don't know anything. It's like, look at these two dance around all of their secrets. And just decide to not have a straightforward conversation with anything about anything.
Again, revert back to what I said about most of Michi's problems.
Mm-hmm. I also love that when they get the fruit, they prove that as long as there's something protecting the fruit from direct contact with someone wearing a belt, the fruit cannot transform into a lock seed.
Which I want to know how.
I don't, because the whatever thing within the belt particulate wise detects contact with the fruit. Because granted they don't even have to be transformed. They just have to be wearing the belt to get it. So you can't even write it off as, oh, if it touches the suit, it transforms, because we see in a later episode Kaito peg Hase with an invest fruit and it transforms into Lockseed after it bounces off of him.
Okay, and we've seen earlier them being untransformed and it happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
It feels like one of those, if we didn't do this, we would be out of options for this plot line.
Except for, wouldn't it have made more sense to have had it in like a box? Or not have them grab the fruit itself? Because literally Kota grabs the fruit in the bag. The bag is the only thing between it.
Yep.
If he was grabbing the top of the bag, then okay, well maybe it's because you have to have contact with it, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, we throw that one out too. Like, okay. Also, that is like a one and only time for that, so.
Basically. From here on, it's a bunch of shenanigans involving the Invest and or involving their trap until the Invest takes the bait. Michi puts his phone on it to track it. They track it back to the underground area. They blow up the Invest, but then they see Takatora show up as Zangetsu, burn off all the plants and stuff, and they're like, oh fuck, they're hiding all the evidence and stuff. And I'm like, y'all gonna ask why they're hiding the evidence besides knowing that they are?
Nope, not yet.
Mm-hmm. But that ends episode 9, which takes us to episode 10, Rider Great Assembly, revealing the mystery of the forest. Kota heads off to his job, advertising for some store, but then has to help some woman getting attacked by Invest, because basically from here on out, the Invest are going to show up more and more and more in Zawami City. And I'm pretty sure it's in the 4th episode. One of the civilians gets scratched, and that comes up later.
Yeah, and I also wonder, I could be completely stretching for this, but the part in, I think it's the next episode, where the base is getting attacked.
Mm-hmm.
That happens after Kota got mad about what the scientists said.
Yep.
I wonder if that was supposed to be foreshadowing.
Probably.
I got to thinking about that when I watched it, and I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't just, did they?
It's like, oh, this random group of Invest shows up after Kota gets pissed at everyone in this vicinity. I wonder if that's foreshadowing for anything that's going to happen in the future of this show.
I feel like that might have been, but at the same time, it could have just easily happened, so it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder if that was wrote that way intentionally.
Well, the Kota and Michi basically come up with a plan of like, okay, we need answers. They must have a base in the forest. So what if we pulled all the riders together, everyone got into a fight to distract Zangetsu, and then Kota went and investigated their base? I feel like it feels like it'd be a better plan if Michi was the one sneaking in there, but he doesn't have main character status.
Also, you know, we keep saying Zangetsu, but has he been named in show yet?
No, and I'm pretty sure he never gets named in show.
I just happened to think about that. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure there is not a single person in the show that ever calls him Zangetsu. In either form.
I'm pretty sure they just refer to him as the White Rider all the time.
A recap might call him Zangetsu. Like a narrator recap might call him Zangetsu, but no one in show calls him Zangetsu.
That's kind of funny. One of our main four never got called by name in show.
Yeah, it's just like how in some writer shows, everyone is a common writer, except in context, no one calls them a common writer.
I mean, that one can kind of be understood.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, Gaim is a show that does that exact thing.
Yep. But yeah, they basically get everybody bikes. Maya's not happy with those, but it's like, you be back for the Christmas party, damn it. They're like, fine. But yeah, they put the plan in action, everybody gathers together, and then Pierre shows up being like, I wasn't invited, I'm inviting myself. Look, I even have the toy version of the bike. Because just for people wondering, yes, he is holding the legit toy version of the prop. He is not holding the prop.
Probably because they ran out of the prop.
Probably. Or they forgot to pass him one of the props, so they're like, oh, here's the toy, because it is, the writer wiki also points this out, it is clearly smaller than the prop. If you compare it in his hands and then in like Kaito's hands, like in like a later scene, it's clear it's smaller. I'm also pretty sure you can see the distinct parts of it that make it the toy, because for reference, the toy does actually unfold into the bike.
This is not as big of a bike.
No. You can even slice it. You can also put it in the driver and slice it. I'm pretty sure it does nothing because there's no sounds attached to it. But you can put it in the driver and use it. But yeah, a bunch of invest show up. The writers start to fight it, and so they're like, you know what? Fuck Michi. We're gonna leave, because Kaito's first being like, the game's already started. I'm gonna go get lock seats. Bye.
Which, and then they made a valid point. That wasn't part of the game. And Michi did kind of screw up and say the game had started, so yeah.
And the game was gathering lock seats, not blowing up the invest.
It's one of those, it seems like he was being a complete and total jerk, but no, he actually had every right for that. Yeah, then Hase and Genochi leave, and then Orin leaves. So leaves Michi alone. Thankfully, Kota's there to help. Unfortunately, Michi has like the worst form change in the series by going Kiwi arms. I hate Kiwi arms. Just to put it out there, I hate Kiwi arms. I think it sucks. I think it has like the worst weapon in the show. It just doesn't look good. It never has a good looking fight. I don't know if you hold the same opinion. I don't really hate it, but I don't think it works for me.
I think its biggest problem is that the Geki Riken are so fucking absurdly large. And I understand that technically the real world equivalent of those weapons is actually that big. But they are so comically large. It is impossible for the suit actor to do anything with them, but basically spin in circles or throw them and let the CGI take over.
It's weird. With Kiwi, I almost feel like swapping Kiwi and Ichigo would be better. If Michi had Ichigo, that would make more sense. Whereas if Kota had Kiwi, that would make more sense.
Even though I'm pretty sure Kota at this point has used Ichigo more than Pine.
I think so at this point. I actually think altogether he uses Ichigo more than Pine.
Yeah, which feels more like his like secondary Loxy than Pine. And I'm like, why don't we give? It feels weird to say like, why don't we give Pine to anyone else? And I'm like, well, Pine is supposed to plug into the Muso Saber, so unless Takatora is using it, that functionality is entirely moot. Granted, I don't know why it needs to plug into the Muso Saber.
It's one of those I almost feel like Ichigo and Kiwi, if they were swapped, I wouldn't mind it kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's weird, you know. Actually, us mentioning that about Ichigo arms. I think even when Kota has Kiwami, he actually uses the weapon for Ichigo more than he does any of the others.
Yeah, I think the most he does with a lot of the other weapons is just summon them just CGI throw them at people. He only rarely uses like the other weapons. It probably doesn't help that I'm pretty sure they only have one prop of all the weapons. And that initial Kiwami fight, I think proves that they only have one of all of the prop weapons. Like they only have one pair of Bravo's weapons. Because in that fight, Bravo has his weapons. Kiwami comes in, he uses those weapons. All of a sudden, Bravo doesn't have his weapons anymore.
I mean, to be fair, that wouldn't surprise anyone because there's only one set of Kachidoki flags.
Yeah.
Because once they're broke in the final episode, they stay broke the entire time the Kachidoki is in play.
Yeah, they only ever get fixed after the show. Like, I think there's two Muso Sabers, obviously, because we see Kota and Takatora have them both at the same time.
Yeah.
So, clearly there's two.
They have two of them.
Yeah, also because technically there is a sticker detail that is different between the two of them, but I don't think anyone can ever see that in show.
Probably not.
But yeah, there's only like one version of every single weapon. Anywho, after Michi and Kota, Kota bails Michi out, he heads off. Kota cleans up the weapon, the invest with Suika. Takatora finds out that the riders have went into the forest, and he's like, all right, I gotta go kick some kid's ass. And then we see Takatora transform on screen for the first time. And I love knowing now that whenever he does his transformation, he just palms the Lockseed. The Lockseed he throws is CG.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Well, I think it would just be funny if it was just a cut, but I think it's the group transformation in like the summer movie. Like there's behind the scenes of it showing everybody transform, and you clearly see Takatora just act like he's throwing up the Lockseed, but he just palms it and just brings down and just puts it back in. So yeah,
it makes you wonder if at some point they tried having him do the actual toss it in the air and he lobbed it somewhere and they never could find the first one.
They probably learned the lesson from O's, because I know trivia in O's is that Onk's actor actually threw the fucking the core medals at all the time. They lost prop medals because of this all the time.
Some of it you have to wonder, was it intentional or not?
It's hilarious too, because there's a clear cut before he really has to let go of them when he throws them. But no, he still just chucks the damn things at the camera or wherever direction he has to throw them.
I mean, you got to commit to the bit.
Yep. takes us halfway through the episodes. How do you feel halfway through?
It's weird that this is the first time we get to see Takatora transform.
Yeah. This is also like the only time we will ever see him transform as Zangetsu.
Yeah. Wait. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, he transforms later in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot.
Because one of his and Michi's fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that, but like this is like one of maybe like 2 or 3 times we will see him transform into his base form. We will see him transform more into Shin Zangetsu.
Within probably the next batch of episodes.
Yeah. But any other thoughts before we hit the second half?
No.
All right, episode 11, The Truth Behind the Christmas Game. Hase decides to attack Kaito because he's like, fuck the rules. I'm going to take out Kaito. Kaito's like, sir, you are a fucking jobber. You would have better luck fighting the Invest. I'm going to go collect lock seats now. Bye.
I love that Kaito literally, as you pointed out earlier, bounces a fruit off of his head and is just like, yeah, no.
It's like, there's a free lock seat. Fuck off. It also doesn't help that, like, Orange shows up right there and he's like, Kaito's like, you rematch. And Orange's like, cool, I'm down with that. You're the only one that can give me a challenge.
Until he meets the love of his life here in about 10 minutes.
Yep. But yeah, we catch up with Koda. He's looking for the base in the forest. Michi is also pondering if Zangetsu is his brother because he's seen the belt. He's seen that Takatora has the same belt and is like, I wonder if my brother is Zangetsu. And I'm like, yeah, have y'all not noticed the plate changing to the design on it when you put it on? Is that not?
Nope, none of them have spotted that, I don't think.
I don't think anyone brings up in the show that is a technically a collectible gimmick of the show because that is removable, as we'll see later in the next batch. Because that also, toy-wise, that determines what standby music is played. Because there's like a little tab system on the indicator that basically says, yeah, basically it's like, up, this one's hit, that's the Gaim Zangetsu one. This one hit, that's the Baron Grid on one. This one's hit, that's the Ryugen one. This one's hit, it's the Bravo one. If I think there might be a 5th one where it just shuts up and lets like whatever standby music is supposed to be played to play. But yeah, anywho. Everybody just fights it out and stuff. Takatora, I believe he takes out Jinochi first, and that's what Kota uses to find the base because he follows them, dragging Jinochi off to go, I guess, dump him out the front door of Yggdrasil Tower or something.
I guess.
I don't know where Jinochi ends up after Takatora kicks his ass. And I guess Jinochi doesn't think about it's like, I was fighting Takatora in the forest and then I woke up, I don't know, on some curve of the street somewhere because they were like, we're just gonna dump him here, who cares? But yeah, Kota dressed up as one of the workers in like a suit or something. Talks to a couple scientists and basically is like, this place is called Helheim. That is a crack. we've given the belts to those kids so they could do testing for us without them knowing, because they're just dumb kids. Who gives a shit about them? I think at this point, Takatora catches up to Kaito and Orin, fights them. Interesting enough, at least in this fight, he actually turns his sword around and uses the blunt end of his sword against the both of them.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. The last thing he was told before going after them was not to destroy the belts. So if he's not hitting with the hard end of the sword and he's just trying to knock them out, then that's the better end.
Yeah, they don't. It doesn't really draw attention to it. You only can see it for a split second. Him reverse the grip and like turn the sword around in his hand. And only if you're watching the fight closely will you notice that he's hitting them with the blunt end. I want to say it's the same for the Genochi fight, but I didn't notice it until he was up against Kaito and Orin.
It probably was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those you get cut so much on that fight that, well, that beat down, it wasn't really even a fight. That you don't really get to see it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he knocks them both out, has them both picked up, moves on to Michi, who plays defensively the whole fight and is just trying to keep his distance and not say a word, because as soon as he speaks a word, he's gonna be like, "Oh shit, hi bro, how's it going?" It seems we've both been lying a lot. But this is when Hase shows up, or Takatora actually gets informed of the attack that's on the base that Kota's trying to like help out in, because he's like, I hate these people, but also I don't want people to die, so I guess I'm helping. But Takatora gets informed and he's like trying to get back, and then Hase shows up. It's like, you fight me, and Takatora's like, fucking move. I got better shit to deal with than you. Move. And gets so pissed he actually destroys Hase's belt. Which you can actually see the indicator go blank on his when he breaks it. So he broke it. But he gets carried off. Michi, after Kota uses Suika and goes through the portal into Yggdrasil Tower to take out the Invest, which at this point, Sengoku's like, throw up the hologram barrier. No one will be suspicious of it, so Kota can fight the Invest with Suika arms, and nobody questions why there's a giant mech on top of the tower fighting monsters.
And do you think that he realized that Kota was going to end up doing that?
I don't know if he knew Kota specifically was going to do it, but I think he figured that someone would be stupid enough to... someone stole the Suika lock seed and someone was going to use it.
Because that totally felt like he knew it was not going to be Takatora coming out of that portal.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's not hard to tell when it's not Takatora, considering he's the one with the bright-ass white suit, and that should contrast hard within the Suika arms.
Should. Or, the crest that's still tied to it would also kind of point that out, too.
Mm-hmm. Especially since it's in the flight mode, and I'm like, the flight mode really shows who's in the damn suit, and you should clearly see that it's not. It's not the guy wearing white, it's the guy wearing blue. Anyway, Kota cleans up, heads off. Takatora shows back up and is like, fucking kids doing my goddamn job for me. I'm gonna fuck their day up so bad. Team Gaim does their their little Christmas party. Michi also won since he found the base. He found all the Loxies that got left behind and decided, well, I guess this gets me the win. And then they just drop it back off to Sid. And Kota's like, we know where these came from and we know where these are going. We are not talking anymore. Bye. But that takes us to our last episode, episode 12. Genesis Riders arrive. Kota and Michi basically do just a big recap of all of our information from the last 11 episodes, basically.
Because episode 11, the episode before our break, as well as the end of that arc.
Yeah, and it's not episode 11. I think it's actually episode 10. Or no, it's between 9 and 10 is when the winter crossover happens. Technically, in continuity.
Let that sink in, because yeah.
Not only do they have one Big Dumb Battle Royale, they have two Big Dumb Battle Royales back to back. But yeah, after recapping the information in a conversation, Michi's like, we should probably not transform because I will play into Yggdrasil's hands. And Kota immediately is like, yeah, that makes sense. Here's someone in trouble. Well, I'm gonna go transform now. So, oops. They do spot, after destroying the monster, a bunch of Kurakage show up to take out the plants and stuff. And now we have basically our secondary goons of the season. The mass-produced Kurakages that just have a blank Sengoku driver with no indicator. Because that is the only difference between Hase Kurakage and mass-produced Kurakage.
Well, besides here, in a couple of episodes, there'll be another difference between them, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. We got to Kaito, and this is when we find out that Mai was the daughter of a shrine maiden for a shrine with a big tree that might look familiar if you're paying attention.
Yeah, because that baby tree totally wasn't the tower.
Yeah, that's totally not the same tree. But this is basically Kaito going, Yggdrasil took everything from me, and I will take everything from them. And Mai's like, can you chill? Like, yeah, they hurt me too, but I don't want to burn everything because of it. Also, future Mai shows up to be like, pass me. Just leave town. Literally leave town. Maybe things will be better if you're not here. Which sounds like the worst idea you could have told yourself. Like, I'm pretty sure that would have not improved anything, and I might have made everything worse if she just fucked off one day. But back at Troopers, and honestly, for the rest of the episode, Kota and Michi just have a big, long, philosophical conversation about, like, well, what do? Do we keep being riders? Because that might play into their hands. Do we reveal the truth? Maybe everyone gets murked if we do. Also, Kaito challenges Hase. Hase's belt doesn't work, and he tries to summon an Invest. It gets murked and loses his Lock Seed, and Hase's basically on his own. That's not going to go well for him.
Nope.
And then Jinochi is like, I'm going to go try to get Pierre to be my underling, and immediately gets turned into an underling. For Orin. Like, did he honestly think he could manipulate Orin?
Apparently.
Like, sir, sir, the man is like 12 steps ahead of you. He completely understands why you're here and is absolutely going to get free labor out of you because you were too goddamn stupid to be able to do anything. But yeah, eventually, Michi Toko's is like, how about we just throw away our belts? Fuck them. And then Kota hears people in trouble, and Michi tries to stop, and he's just like, look, I don't care. People are in trouble. Investors are showing up. We're the only ones that can fight them. I'm gonna go fucking fight them. Maybe it's a part of their plan. Maybe it means nothing, but I'm at least trying to save people. And attaboy Kota. I feel like there's a reason this is the first time we see him do a rider kick in his base form. And it's technically also his second only ever rider kick in the series.
Yeah.
Like, this is Kota taking the first real step. As Michi just stares and just goes, why will no one just do as I say? And I could just look at Michi and go, it's because you don't talk to anyone about your issues. Like, if he just told Kota his hangups about why he wants to throw away the belt, because I assume the only reason Michi wants to throw away the belt is because, oh, Yggdrasil is the one who gave out these belts. Oh, I probably got this belt because of who I am. That's the only reason I got the belt. But after that fight, we see Takatoru debut with his new fancy Genesis driver, Melon Energy Lock Seed for Shin Zangetsu, beats up a bunch of Kurokage troopers, and is like, well, we don't need the other riders anymore. I'm gonna go kick their asses now. Basically. And that's the end of our episodes. How do you feel?
I feel good with us getting to, start the remainder of the show now. Because this is where everything starts having weight to it.
Mm.
Also, I hate the fact that Michi has shown his true colors so early.
God, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, nope, the writing's on the wall. He's gonna do some real dumb shit because he refuses to talk to anybody. And it is not gonna end well for anyone. And he is very, very fucking lucky that his friends are very fucking forgiving.
Yeah.
Because in any other show, his ass be dead. He'd be dead. He is the last man standing at the end of this show with a belt, and that's only because in any other show he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I honestly think if this was any other show, Takatoru would honestly be the only one left. It would be this weird kind of like bookending of like Takatoru was technically the first rider, and now he is the last one standing on Earth. As everything he tried to build fell apart, every plan he tried to implement blew up in his face. These kids ended up saving the day and sacrificing themselves to make it happen, and now he's just left with the pieces and is like, fucking what do I do now? Just how do I rebuild and make this place like worth all these sacrifices after I was such a shithead almost the entire show? Yeah, I guess any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then in 2 weeks we will continue this and see Jimba's debut. And after that, we will get every Jimba form, but the one that everyone wanted to see.
Right.
I love how the toy has the stuff for it. Concept art has the stuff for it. They had a moment in the damn show, in the damn movie, that should have been it, but it wasn't. They outright refused to give us Jimba Melon. and it's insane. But that's in 2 weeks. But between now and then, Thursday will hopefully be CAD. If I'm not feeling great, it just won't be the case. Keep an eye on Blue Sky and Twitter to know, basically, because I'll throw it there that, like, hey, I don't feel up for it. Friday will be a thing.
Yep.
Saturday will be a thing.
Yep.
And next Sunday will be TGS, where
it'll be a thing.
We get to talk about a Pokemon Presents. That's
and possibly a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I keep hearing the conversation of that, and I'm like, it feels like cope. It feels like some hard cope. For being honest,
it does, but it's been consistent on this one, so maybe.
If it doesn't happen next week, it's not happening this month, I feel like, because I don't think they would announce it until the Pokemon Presents has aired, and that's Tuesday. So it has to be after Tuesday at minimum.
I disagree with you. And I only say that because there is another one of those closed beta kind of deals that Nintendo's doing, and that is going on next week. Meaning they might do something to kind of divert attention.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing they did last year. I forgot the attempt to sign up for it, but I think it's the same thing.
You can't sign up till tomorrow.
Okay, then never mind. I thought the sign-ups already happened. I thought the sign-ups were like Friday, I thought. Thursday or Friday last week. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing they did the beta test before. It says it's the same imagery, I guess, in the same setup. So I assume it's that same like small scale multiplayer resource thing, because people leaked what that was.
Maybe,
at least
but I don't know.
But yeah, we can talk about a Pokemon sense that probably will be mostly champions, because I don't see what the hell else they would tell us. Because, like, what are they going to tell us about ZA at this point?
Go buy it.
Basically. I'm willing to bet they're not going to do a teaser for the next gen of Pokemon. That feels like a next year. So it's just going to be mainly Pokemon Champions. And all their usual mobile stuff. But we'll talk about that, and hopefully good news, because we could use it in the game industry right now. And like I said, in 2 weeks, we will continue Gaim. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point, YouTube and chat gets to the YouTube archive for this and all of our other streams eventually. There might be some time before I start putting out the weekly co-ops. I did not get around to getting the playlist sorted and set up to start putting them out. I don't know if I'll have time until Friday, really, to sit down and do it. And right now, there's only videos scheduled to, like, the start of Wednesday in our usual time slots, so might not be stuff until Friday, is what I'm saying. When it is, I will, like, try to schedule like a week or two in advance from here on out. But yeah, that's the schedule for YouTube at the moment. Exclamation point social and chat gives you the handles for all of our social medias. Exclamation point Discord and chat gives us a link. Drop by, say hi, and we'll see you Thursday, folks.